Hello everyone and welcome to Learn Photoshop. So in this video we're going to go over the course overview and what we're going to be learning throughout the course. So in section 2 we're going to be covering Creative Cloud. I'm going to show you how to set up an account and download the Creative Cloud application, and then I'll show you how to install the Creative Cloud application as well. And then we're going to download and install Photoshop as well. In section 3 we're going to cover Photoshop, so we'll talk about the following menus: File, Edit, Image, Layer, Type, Select, Filter, 3D, View, Window, Help, and Tools menus. In section 4, we'll conclude the course with a conclusion and talk about what's next. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Welcome to section 2 in the Creative Cloud. So in this video, we're going to show you how to set up an account with Creative Cloud. So let's head over to your favorite web browser. In my case, I'm going to use Firefox. Type in Google Adobe Creative Cloud. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Adobe Creative Cloud right here. And you're going to see right here, start your free trial. So I'm going to click on that. And it's 14 days free, then $52.99 a month. So that's for individuals, students and teachers, it's $20 a month. Business, it's $80 a month after 7 days. So I'm going to do individual, we're going to do 14 days free, then $52 a month. So I'm going to start the free trial. And I'm going to put in my email address. So I'm going to continue that. Now it's going to require credit card information. So I'm going to pause the video, put my stuff in, and then click on Start Free Trial. Okay, so now you can see that I've set up my ID, but I need to set up a password to sign in. So I'm going to click on Set Your Password. And now what it's going to do is it's going to prompt me to download and install Creative Cloud. So let's save the file. Okay. And in the next video, I'll show you how to install this. I'll see you there. Alright, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to install Creative Cloud. Originally, I was going to download and install and show you how to do that, but Adobe decided to download it for us. So I'm going to go to the download section here in Firefox, open that up. I'm going to double click on Creative Cloud Setup. And it's going to pop up a window saying, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Click yes. Close that out. I'll hit continue. All set. You successfully signed in. Feel free to close this browser tab. Okay, so I'm going to close that and then open up this right here. So it's going to install this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and I'll see you when we get to 100%. Alright, welcome back. So the installation is complete. And now we're going to go inside of the application. It's going to say welcome to Creative Cloud. We can take a tour, but in this case we're going to skip. I'm going to maximize this window. And in the next video, I'm going to be talking about the different sections of Creative Cloud Desktop. So I'll see you there. Alright, welcome back. So we've set up our account and installed Creative Cloud. Now let's go to Creative Cloud. So hit the start menu here, type in Creative Cloud right here. What I want you to do is right click and pin this to the taskbar just for the moment. And what I want you to do is click on Install on Photoshop. So while that's installing, I'm going to pause the video and I'll come back when it's finished. Alright, so that's finished. So what I want you to do is just click on Open, and that's going to load up Photoshop. And then what we're going to do is unpin Creative Cloud from our taskbar. Actually, let's leave it there, just in case we need it. But I do want to pin Photoshop. So let's right click and pin Photoshop to the taskbar. And I'm going to move Creative Cloud to the right and keep Photoshop as the main tab here. So what you're going to see, if I do File New, well, I got a program error. I've never seen that before. Okay. Right, let me close this out for a second. I'm going to reopen Photoshop. There we go. I'm going to be honest with you, I've used this a long time, I've never seen that happen before. So, it's decided to be a little buggy today. But here is the Photoshop splash page. So, when you load the program up, you're going to see the little image pop up first. It'll load everything up, and then you'll get the splash page here. So, in the next video, I'm going to go over the File menu. So, I'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Alright, welcome back. So, if you don't already have Photoshop open, go ahead and open it up. And in this video, I'm going to be covering the File menu. You can take a tour, you can check out what's new, and you can drag and drop an image or select one from your computer to get started. And that basically what that would do is it would start a project. If you click on Learn, there we go. They do have tutorials here, so you can check out tutorials, and these are good ones. I've looked them over. You can take a tour of Photoshop, save your images, crop and straighten an image, add an object to an image, and there's a lot more right here. You can also do tutorials on the web. There's all sorts of videos here. They're all great. I think this is fantastic. I wish they would have had this when I was in school. I would have had a ball with this. So I encourage you to check that out at a later time. They do have Lightroom photos as well. I don't have any in here, but if you had them in here, you can pull them out and then work from there. So I just want to show you the welcome screen just so you understand what it is. And then right here you have the search bar. You can search, and then you have a link to your account. Okay. So in this video, like I said, we're going to be talking about the file menu. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, and the first thing we're going to be learning about is the new command or the new file. And basically what this is going to do is this is going to give you a couple options when you start. You're going to get a default Photoshop size. So that's 7 inches by 5 inches. And the resolution is 300 pixels, so 300 dpi. So think 300 dots per inch or pixels per inch. They really say dots per inch, but it's the same thing. Basically what that does is if you do a 300 pixel resolution, or dpi I should say, it's going to have a crisper image because you have more dots per inch. So you're going to have more quality, okay? So let's click OK just to see what happens. And now you can see it opens up the document. So now you can start working in that document. Now the next thing, so that's really new. All new does is it just takes you to this little prompt menu here, and you can go through, and if you look at the document type, there's a lot of document types. You can do US paper, international paper, photo, web, mobile app design, film and video, iconography, art and illustration, artboard, untitled, and custom. So they give you a lot of options. You can say presets. You can set the resolution to, if I go to web, it's going to be 72 dpi, not 300, because 300 is really for print. The reason why they do 72 for RGB is because load time. If you are building a website and you have 300 dpi images, your website's never going to load. It's going to be really slow. Plus, you're trying to reach everybody, so it's going to be a tall hill to climb if you're trying to reach everybody, but you're putting really high-end quality content out there, which is great, but you got to do it somewhere where it can handle that. So if it's video, that's a different story, but for the web, you need to optimize. So that's the new, that's how you make a new document. So the shortcut for that is Control N. So if you hit Control N, and then you go in here and you change this to, let's do video, 1920 by 1080. Okay, there you go. So now you have new, and now we have 3 tabs open. So if I wanted to close these, you can do a couple things. You can click on the X, you can hit Control W to close it as well, and then that will take us back to the home page. Okay, so that's the new command. Now you can also do Open, and what Open's going to do is it's going to look for Photoshop files. So I don't have currently anything here to grab, but that's okay. If you did have a file, you can click New, Open. Next up is Browse and Bridge. So I don't have Bridge installed, but what Bridge does is Bridge will, let me show you. This is Bridge, okay? So you can centralize all your content with Bridge. So think of Bridge as kind of like a folder with all your content on it, okay? It gives you centralized access to all the files and assets you need for your creative projects. Organize personal and team assets. Batch edit with ease. Add watermarks. Set centralized color preferences, and even upload your photos to Adobe Stock. Bridge simplifies your workflow and keeps you organized, now including creative file libraries. So what it will do is it will optimize everything and keep it organized. Make folders to organize everything and pull things in. So by running that command, Browse and Bridge, or hitting Control-Alt-O, that's going to pull Bridge open if you have it installed. We do not have it installed, so it's not going to work right now, but that's okay. All right, the next one is Open As. All right, so you can open as a PSD, a PDD, or a PSDT, okay, a large document, 3D Studio, audio file, BMP, Camera Raw, CIN, DAE, a GIF, EPS, Flash, well, Flash 3D, that's cool, Google Earth, Pixar, Photoshop Raw, Photoshop PDF. Okay, so there's a lot of formats in here. The point is, I can scroll down and there's even more. So this is pretty much going to open just about any file format that there is. Not every single one, I'm not guaranteeing that, but you can see here from the list, there's about 30 extensions right here. Okay, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 right there. So that's 20. Yeah, So we're about 30 right here, okay? So you're looking at about 30 to 50 extensions. I don't know the exact number, but you have a lot of options to open as here, okay? Now the next one, and if you want to do the shortcut, you can do Alt-Shift-Control-O. Let me try that, Alt-Shift-Control-O. I'm going to show you a lot of shortcuts because shortcuts increase your productivity dramatically. Not dramatically, dramatically. It makes you faster, trust me. Open as a smart object. So what this is going to do, it's going to do all formats, and you're going to open the smart object. So that would be like, for an example that I use a lot is I grab Illustrator files and bring them over. So they're vector images. So you can save it as a vector image. You can save it as a smart object if you wanted to. There are other examples, but that's the primary one that I use. Open recent, we don't have anything recently opened. Close, that's only if you have a document open. So if we hit Control N and then open this, now this menu is going to be open. So you can Control W, close all, is Alt Control W, close and go to Bridge, Shift Control W. Okay, now if we want to save, it's not going to let us save right now because we haven't done anything. But if I grab this brush and I do this, you see this little star right here? Now it's going to open up this menu here and say, okay, now you can save. Okay, or we can save as. So if you hit Control S or Shift Control S, you can save or save as. Okay, now what I recommend doing is if you're going to save, just save it. Just do Control S. You don't need to save as because this is a PSD file. So when you're building out files in Photoshop, you want to always have a source. And what I mean by that is save it as a PSD first, then export it as whatever you need. That way you can edit the file. Because if you edit it, not edit it, but if you save it as a flat image, you're not going to be able to edit any layers. Because what it does is when you export it out as a JPEG, a PNG, a GIF, etc., it's going to flatten the layers. So you're not going to be able to do anything with it. You're going to have to redo everything. So if you get into the habit of saving a PSD file, then you're not going to have problems later when you have 180 layers that you flattened and now you can't do anything because you didn't save the PSD file. So please, please, please save a PSD file. It will save you in the long run. Now you can do save as well. And we can save it as a Photoshop PDF. Okay, let's save that. And okay, save PDF, yes. And let's do the next one. So revert. I believe I can do revert right now. Let me just see something. There we go. Okay, so revert basically undoes your last action. So if I do this, and I do this, and then I go here and I hit revert, or if I hit F12, okay, it's going to revert or undo your previous action. So even if I do this, and I'm doing 4 different things, right? If I hit F12, it gets rid of all of them, okay? So that's just if you need to undo 4 things at once, or just undo everything that you just did, besides this right here, my beautiful artwork. Okay, export. Excuse me, export. Click export as PNG, export as, export preferences, save for web, and then all these are layers to files, color lookup tables, pass to Illustrator, Zoomify. So if I do click export as PNG, let's save it. Okay, it didn't work, I like that. Normally what I'll do is I'll do Alt-Shift-Control-S, and then I work in this window. This is all I use when I export stuff. Right, Runner Indifferent, that's what I use, because right here they have the presets, so you can do GIF, you can do JPEG, PNG 8, PNG 24, WB, MP, I don't really use that much, but, okay. Let's do PNG, and then I'll save that, and let's go to the desktop, we'll save it as level 1, and I'll replace it, and there you go. Okay, so now, generate, so you can do image assets, we can share on Behance, so we can upload here. Close that. This is share on Behance again. We can search Adobe stock, place embedded, place linked. So these are just files that you can bring in, and then what it's going to do is make a layer of it. So you see how it's the same file, but okay. So you see how they have different little icons here. So we did the embedded. Okay, so the embedded has this little document icon right here. And then the link has a little lock on it for a link. Okay. Package, you can grab a folder with content in it. Automate, so you can do batch, PDF presentation, create droplet, create and straighten, crop and straighten photos, contact sheet, conditional mode change, fit image, lens correction, merge to HD Pro, and photo merge. Scripts, you can run scripts to like delete all empty layers. There's a lot of things you can do. This is really a cool thing. You can flatten all masks, which I don't have any, but you can write out your own scripts and really, you know, write out like 5 different things that you're doing, and then make it a process, and then run it, and then it will flatten out layer effects, which I don't have any, but this is pretty cool. All right, next up we have import. So we can import video frames and layers, notes, WIA support, file info. So this is going to give you the info on the PDF. Okay. I haven't put a lot of metadata in here, but you want to because it's going to give you good SEO optimization if you're going that route, and other places as well. We can print. I'm going to cancel. We can do print one copy. I'm going to cancel that as well. And then the final thing in the file menu is the exit. So if I click on this, it's going to prompt me to save my file. I'm going to no, and then it's going to close out Photoshop. So that's the file menu in a nutshell. I know that's a lot to take in, but again, it's just to get you started with Photoshop to understand what's going on, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Alright, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about the edit menu. Let's click on the edit menu here, and I'm just going to go over a quick overview of what everything is, and then we'll actually use some of the tools. Okay, so in the edit menu, you have the undo, redo, toggle last state, fade, cut, copy, copy merge, paste, paste special, and clear. So these are common tools that I use all the time. So let's hit Control N to create a new document, and we'll just do the default Photoshop size. That's fine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw number 1, 2, 3, and 4. You don't have to do that if you want to. You just follow along. So I want to show you what you can do here. So let's do, you can undo the brush tool or toggle last state. Okay, so if I hit Control Z, it's going to get rid of the dot, and then it's going to get rid of the 4. Well, however I draw it, so if I hit Control Z again, it'll get rid of the dot, and get rid of the number 3. Control Z, get rid of the dot, get rid of the number 2. Control Z, get rid of the dot, get rid of the number 1. Now, if I want to redo that, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to redo the brush tool. So we did the undo tool. Now I want to redo it. So we're going to hit Shift Control Z. So Shift Control Z. That's going to bring back the number 1. And then if I hit it again, then we'll get the dot. I'll get the number 2, and I'll get the dot. I'll get the number 3, and I get the dot. Every time I hold Control, Shift, and then hit Z, it brings everything back. So if I wanted to undo that, I would hit Control Z. I'd hold Control and then hit Z, and that would undo it. But if I hit Shift and hold the Control button and then do Z, then I get it back. Okay? So really all you're doing is to undo it, you're going to hit Control Z. To redo it, you're going to hit Control Shift Z. Okay? So you're just going to add Shift to that. So that's the majority of these tools right here. The cut, copy, copy, merge, paste special are self-explanatory, but I'm going to show you anyway, real quick. If I make a new layer here, and I grab the brush tool, there we go. I'm going to do 1, and then a dot, and then I'll do Control Shift N, which creates a new layer. I haven't talked about this yet, but that's just a shortcut. And then 2, and then the dot. Okay, so now, if I hit Control A, you see how this marquee tool is all the way around. It's the selection tool, and it's selecting the whole canvas, right? But really all it's doing is selecting this layer. So if I hit Control C, or do Edit, Copy, and then do Edit, Cut, or hit Control Z to undo that, and then hit Control X. Then what I'm doing is I can create a new layer, Control Shift N, layer 3, and I'm going to hit Control Z, or no, V, I think it is. Yeah, there we go. Control V, that paste. So essentially what we did is we cut, copied, and pasted. Control X, so Control C to copy, Control X to cut, and Control V to paste. Okay, and then if you want to do a paste special, paste without formatting, paste in place, paste into, paste outside. So we can do paste in place. There you go, we got another one. Let's do one more. And it's right on top of the other one. So now we have a couple twos, and I got 5 layers and the background. So search, you can search for stock content, learn content, Photoshop content. Okay. Check spelling, we don't have any errors because we have numbers. Find and replace text. I don't have any text to replace, but if you need that tool, it's a great tool. Fill. There we go. So what I did is I unlocked this layer. So you're going to see right here, there's a little lock on your layer here. If you just double click it, it'll unlock it and then open up the filter. But you can do that, or you can just click here too. I really like shortcuts, so. But then it does stuff that I don't want it to do. So either way is fine. But we're going to select the layer 0 here. And what I want to do is go to fill. And what it's doing is this is the foreground. So this black palette here is the foreground swatch. I'm going to call it a swatch. The foreground swatch is right here and the background is white. So there's the background, there's the foreground. So this is one way you can do it, where you go there and then you can select the fill. The stroke, you can set it here if you want, but I recommend using the filter over here because there's a lot more options. And if you want to change the background and the foreground, so this is the foreground. So if you want to change that, just double click this and then go in your color picker and grab whatever color you want. Okay, I'm going to cancel that and then if you want to go to the background, just double click the white and then do the same thing. Change the color to whatever background you want. And it's super simple. And if you want to switch them, you just click this little button here and it'll switch back and forth, or you can X. That's what I like to use. X is really fast. You just X and it'll go back and forth and then you can change the color whatever you want. Okay, we'll get into that later. But right now, so that's the fill and stroke. Content aware fill. That's not active right now, so we're not going to talk about that too much. Content aware scale, puppet, wrap, perspective, warp, free transform. Okay, this is one I use a lot. So what this does, this selects the layer you're on, and then you can resize this. Now they changed this because it used to be I had to hold shift and do this. Now it's the opposite. You don't have to hold shift, you just drag. And it automatically will adjust the aspect ratio for you and keep it even. So it's a nice tool, but they just make changes on me, so I have to get adjusted. Transform, so you can do scale, skew, rotate, skew, distort, perspective, warp, rotation 180 degrees, rotate 90 degrees clockwise, and then rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay, then we have flip horizontal, flip vertical. So I can flip that vertical because that's just that content. If I go into this one, I do the same thing. I go transform, and skew. And you can see that's a skew. Okay, and if I go to layer 2, we can rotate clockwise. Okay, let's do this one then. We can do rotate clockwise. There you go. So those are some of the effects that you can do in the transform area. Purge, you can do clipboard, histories, all, video cache, Adobe PDF presets, preset manager, migrate presets, export, import, remote connections, color settings, assign profile, convert to profile, keyboard shortcuts, menus, toolbar, and preferences. So this is one I care about the most. Keyboard shortcuts and menus. Awesome. You don't have to learn all these right now, but I'm telling you, this is going to make your life so easy once you get the hang of it. And trust me, it takes a little time, but I've been using this software a long time, and I live by the shortcuts. And when they do an update and they change my shortcuts, I just change them back. That way I can keep working the way that I've been working for 15 years, you know? All right, so I'll cancel that. Let's look at the preferences real quick. I'm not going to go over a lot of this other stuff because we're going to be going through all the menus, so I don't want to change anything. But basically, this gives you the option to go through here and you can change the shortcuts and, you know, restore things and set defaults and load presets and all that. I don't want to do that. I want to leave it just the way it is so that I can show you how to use it. So let's do preferences and we'll just go to general. And that covers everything. So in general, you can set the color picker, the HUD color picker, the image interpolation, so biocubic automatic, interface, so the color theme, you can go darker if you want, which makes it easier in your eyes. I'll keep it at that. Workspace, you can set whatever option you want here. Tools, you can show tool tips, use rich tool tips, etc. History log, you can look at your history log and see what you got. File handling, always save. File extension, use lowercase. Export, quick export format, PNG, you can set this to SVG, GIF, JPEG, or PNG. If you're doing web, I recommend doing PNG because that's either PNG or SVG for web. If you're doing graphic design, JPEG, depending on where it's going, you know. But the default is PNG, so you can change that if you want, or you can change it somewhere else. Performance, let Photoshop use 70% of my RAM. That's fine. The scratch disk, this is just where everything's saved. Start up. So I have 254 gigs of free space. I have a terabyte and a half here. Cursors, you can change the cursors. Standard, precise, whatever you want to do with that. Transparency setting, I leave all this as it is. Units and rulers, I haven't even shown you the ruler tool, but I'll do that next. Guides, grid and slices, I leave it the way it is. Plugins, you can get plugins. Type options, so use smart quotes, enable lift protection, show font names in English, use escape key to commit text, etc. 3D, same deal. I'm going to use 100% RAM to do 3D rendering. I recommend doing that. Just make sure you have a lot of RAM so you can handle this if you're doing that. Technology previews. That's really it. So I'll close that out. Let me show you the ruler real quick. We're going to hit Control R, and that's the ruler. So you can see here that it's in, if I right click on it, we're in pixels. You can go inches, centimeters, millimeters, points. Because I don't know what that is. Percent. Okay. The one I work in all the time is pixels. That's all I do. So I have done inches as well, but I try to just keep it in pixels. Keep it simple. I see in pixels, I'm just saying. Okay? So that's the edit menu. So thank you for joining me in this video. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Welcome back, everybody. In this video, we're going to talk about the image menu. So let's head over to Photoshop if you haven't already. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the image menu. So you can see here they have mode, adjustments, auto tone, auto contrast, auto color, image size, canvas size, image rotation, crop, trim, reveal all, duplicate, apply image, calculations, variables, apply data set, wrap, and analysis. Okay, so all of these are deactivated because we don't have a file. So let's go to create new or file new or Control N, whichever one you want to do. There are 3 ways to get there. And then what I'm going to do is set this to the default Photoshop size, hit OK. And now what we can do is all these are activated. So with mode, this is really cool. You can set the mode to bitmap, grayscale, duotone, index color, RGB, which is what it's on right now, CMYK, lab color, and multi-channel. So you can set it to 8 bits per channel, 16 bits per channel, 32 bits per channel. If you do 32 bits, it's going to be a big file. 16 is going to be a little smaller, and then 8 bits is the standard right now for this file type. So for what we're doing, 300 pixels, 300 dpi, it's good to have the default preferences. Okay, so you can change this to CMYK or any other grayscale or whatever you want to do. Adjustments, so brightness, contrast, levels, curves, exposure, vibrance, hue, saturation, color balance, black and white, photo filter, channel mixer, color lookup, invert, posterize, threshold, gradient map, selective color, shadow highlights, HDR toning, desaturate, match color, replace color, equalize. So these are really cool to play with. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get out of image. I'm going to make a new layer right here. We're going to draw a box with the marquee tool. And I'm going to grab this color right here. So we're going to use black. And click on the gradient tool. And we're going to select the paint bucket tool. I'm going to fill that black. And then if you hold Alt until you get the 2 cursors and drag it out, it's going to make another layer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this red color right here, and then hit the letter G, and fill that, right? And then what I'm going to do is line them up. We'll go to image, and what we're going to do is we're going to adjust this one right here. So let's adjust the brightness and the contrast. Okay, so now you can see that is in action. All right, and then if you want to adjust the levels, okay, I can turn this way down, make it transparent, or I can make it darker. So we can make it just about black. Okay. And then we can do curves. Okay, so what that's going to do is it's going to change the tone of the color. So we can go lighters to the left, and the darkers to the right. Okay, so these are just different ways to adjust the colors. Okay, we can do auto tone, auto contrast, auto color, image size. You can change the image size of the document itself. So we're 7 inches by 5 inches right now. We can change this to 10 by 10. That's a lot good, so I'll unlock that. So we'll do 10 inches by 10 inches. I'll hit OK, and it's going to make the image bigger. So now I'm going to zoom out. And I'm going to Control Z that to go back to our original format. Canvas size, you can change the canvas size as well. If I do it in inches, it's 7 by 5. I'm going to leave it at that. image rotation, so we can rotate the image 180 degrees clockwise, 90 degrees, 90 degrees counterclockwise, arbitrary. Okay. Oh, it doesn't let me crop. So I hit the shortcut key C, and that is the crop tool. So you can just go this way and you can crop the image down. Control Z to undo that. So that's the crop tool. Trim, top left pixel color, so let's trim that. There you go. I'm going to do Control Z. Reveal all. Duplicate. So let's duplicate it. So we just duplicated the whole document. Apply image. You can merge, do all sorts of stuff with that. Calculations. Okay. I'm going to close this one, and no, we're not going to save it. Alright, then we're going to do variables you can define and analysis. Okay, so we got the ruler tool. Okay, if you hit Control R, that'll reactivate the ruler. So I'm going to close that out. So that is the image tool. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And let's do File, New, and do the default Photoshop size. And let's go to the layer menu. Okay, so there's all sorts of goodies in here. Not everything's going to be activated because we don't have all the necessary things in the layer for it to be working. So if you want to do new layer, you can do Control Shift N. Control Shift N. Okay, that is right. Control Shift N. That's how you create a new layer. Layer from background, group from layers, artboard from group, artboard from layers, frame from layers, layer via copy. You can duplicate the layer, delete the layer, quick export, export as, rename layer, layer style, so you can give it different filters, new fill layer, new adjustment layer, layer mask, vector mask, smart objects, video layers, layer-based slice, group layers, hide layers. You can arrange, combine, lock layers, merge down, merge visible, flatten image, and matting. Okay, so those are all the options that they have, but I'm going to show you all those here, because I don't ever use this, ever. I've never even opened a window before. I use this right here, which is the same thing, but it's in a different area. So what I want you to do real quick, let's do this. I'm going to hit the Tab key for me, and then click on the window menu and click layers. Okay. So what I want to do, and actually do window and let's do the tools as well. So I want to keep the tools open and just the layer menu open. So you just have two things on your screen, so you can focus on that and not anything else to be distracted. Okay, so new layer is Shift Control N or just click this little button right here. New layer. Create a new layer. Okay. If you double click this, you can rename the layer. Okay. Or if you click that, anyway, if I hit Control Shift N, it's going to prompt me to name the layer. So layer 45. Okay. But you can rename it like that. You can also do the menu in here. Okay, so what happens with the layers are very crucial to Photoshop. It's really any creative product out there because you have all these options. You can copy CSS, you can copy SVG, duplicate a layer, delete the layer, etc. Now, you don't need to go in here to delete the layer. All you need to do is go here, hit delete. Okay, or you can hit the delete icon right here, the trash bin. Okay, new group from layers, new artboard, all that stuff. Not really used that much. I haven't used it. If I right click on the actual layer itself, this is where I use most of the stuff. So when I want to merge down, okay, what that means is I'm combining all these layers together. Right? So I'll unlock that. And let's say you had content on each layer and you wanted to merge them together. Then you would do merge layers. Okay? So all the layers would be together. Okay? If I want to do that, I just hit Control Z and that will undo it. But like I said, this is a great reference point only, but most of your action is going to be over here. Now there are some things that you can use in here, but again, I like to use this because this is what I know. So, like for locking, I can lock right there. Okay. Lock position, prevent auto nesting, lock image pixels, lock transparent pixels. Okay. You can change the layer type. These are all different effects that they have. Pixel layers, adjustment layers, text layers, etc. Normally what I'll do for text, I just write text. And do it there. Because again, I use shortcuts, so can use this if you want. And what that does too is this will separate it out just to the text layers. So you can turn off all the other layers and just see one if you want. Okay. So like if I just wanted to see these, then you can do that. I don't recommend doing that. What I recommend doing is making folders. So if you have layers, let's say background. Okay, background, you can come here, grab all these, drag them in there. Okay, then make another folder for text. Okay, and just make sure it's on top. You always want to have the background on the bottom, because it goes bottom to top. So not top to bottom. Actually, it's top to bottom, but you want to have the background always on the bottom. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Because then, if you do this, the text will disappear. So you always want to have the background on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to delete the text folder. There you go. And we'll go in here, and you can see we have 3 layers there. And so that's really the gist of the layer menu and also layers here. You're going to be learning more as I go along. I don't want to go through everything right now because it's a lot to take in. So with that in mind, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Alright, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about the type menu. But before we do that, we're going to refresh our workspace here. So let's go to Window and we're going to go to Workspace. Go to, let's do Graphics and Web. And that should bring everything back. You go to Window and go to Workspace again and do Essentials. And that'll bring back everything that we had before. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the layers, hold where it says layers, and then bring that in here. Hello, man. It's supposed to let me do that without problem. Really? There we go. Now we'll bring it over to the left, so we have it there. Alright, there you go. So now your menus are back in order. And now we're going to go over the type menu real quick. So you can add fonts from Typekit, which is Adobe fonts. Okay. You have panels, so you got character panel, paragraph panel, glyphs panel, character styles panel, paragraph styles panel. Anti-alias, orientation, open type, extrude to 3D, create work path, convert to shape, rasterize type layer, convert to paragraph text, and warp text. All those are deactivated right now because we don't have the proper content in order to make that work. Match font, so you can match a font. Adjust the on-screen crop marks to closely outline a single line of the text you want to identify. So this will match the font, and then you can click match font, it'll search for the font, and if Adobe Fonts or Typekit has it, it will use it. Okay. Font preview size, you can do medium, large, extra large, huge. Language options, default features, East Asian, Middle Eastern, etc. Update all text layers, replace all missing fonts, resolve missing fonts, paste lorem ipsum, load default type styles, and save default type styles. I've never seen the paste lorem ipsum. That's awesome. Okay. So what we can do, let's use the type tool. Okay. And there's lorem ipsum. So lorem ipsum is like dummy text. So you can fill your content. If you're building out a mock-up, right? You don't want to build a website with no text. But you don't want to write 12 articles to make your mock-up look real. You want to just put filler in there. And so that's what lorem ipsum is. Okay. So that's the type tool. This was a short video, but that's okay. That's the type menu. And that's the type menu. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Alright, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about the select menu. So if I go to the select menu, make sure Photoshop's open, of course. They have all deselect, reselect, inverse, all layers, deselect layers, find layers, isolate layers, color range, focus area, subject, select and mask, modify, grow, similar, transform selection, edit and quick mask mode selection, save selection, and do 3D extrusion. So if I do create new, and I do the default Photoshop size, okay, select all, we've used this tool. So if you hit Control A, that's this right here, okay? Control D, deselects, which is this. Reselect, if you hit Control Shift D, that'll reselect, and then Control D will deselect. Okay, so that's that. Inverse is Shift Control L, maybe I, let's try I. All layers, deselect layers, isolate layers, color range, okay. So that's really the selection tool. The selection tool is very important because you're using it on multiple layers. For this example, let's just do this. I'll change the color to that and do this, right? And let's say I want to copy this. So I'm going to hit Control A, Control C, Control D to deselect, Control Shift N for new layer, paste it there. And then I'm going to change the color. Okay, so I need that select tool just for that. I mean, it's very important. You can select a mask. So we can do this. Let's just kind of do some wild stuff here. Okay. And now we mask the layer. Okay. Edit and quick mask mode. Okay. I'll undo that. And let's do low selection. get the idea. Basically, I'm just showing you, how everything works here. If I go to the layer 1 and we do color range, right? We can adjust the color range a little bit. So that is the select menu. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk briefly about the 3D menu. So let's go to Create New, and we're going to select the default Photoshop size. We'll click on 3D menu, and I'll just talk about some of the features that they have here. So they have the new 3D layer from File. You can merge a 3D layer, export a 3D layer. The panorama here, so you can import panorama. New panorama layer from selected layers, export panorama. Get more content. If I click that, you can download 3D content from Photoshop.com. It's kind of cool. You can download stuff and fiddle with it. You can do new 3D extrusion from selected layer. Yes. So what it's going to do is it's going to make this 3D. Whoops, I just undid it. Hold on a second. Oh wow. Okay. I'm going to undo that. Okay, let's undo. If I just go to layers, there it is. What it did is it changed all the menus. So you see here the tools are different. So if I go to Window and Workspace, we go to Essentials, and we're back to where we were. But what it did is it changed it to 3D, and that's why it changed. So, all right. New mesh from layer, group objects, group all objects on scene, move object to group plane, tack objects on ground plane, new tile painting from layer, generate UVs, paint fall off, paint system, paint on target texture, select paintable areas, create painting overlay. And then a lot more down here. The one thing I'm going to say about the 3D menu is it's cool to see how far Photoshop has come from when I first started using it. They did not have a 3D option at all. And I learned 3D Studio Max, but we didn't really utilize Photoshop much at that point. So this would be a great tool if you want to do 3D modeling, anything like that. You can use Photoshop for that. It's a great tool. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about the view menu. So let's head over to Photoshop. I'm already in here. I'm going to create new. And let's do Photoshop default size. Hit OK, and let's click on View, and look at the menu and what they have. So proof setup, you can do working CMYK. This is for setting up print stuff, proof colors, gamut warning, pixel aspect ratio. So square, you can do a different aspect ratio, and full pixel aspect ratio. Square is good. Pixel aspect ratio correction, 32-bit preview options. Those are deactivated right now, but we can zoom in, zoom out, fit on screen, fit artboard on screen. We don't have one, so that's no good. We can do 100%, 200%, or you can do this, which I prefer. Hit the letter Z, hold Alt, zoom out, let go, zoom in. And then use the space bar, hold the space bar, and you can grab the hand tool and move around. So you can zoom out, and then use the hand tool to move it around. Does the same exact thing. Print size. Okay. That I don't know the shortcut for, so use that. There's no shortcut. Flip horizontal. I'm going to do that. They have screen mode. Okay, let's see what that is. Oh, full screen mode with menu bar, full screen mode. So with this, if you just hit the letter F, that's going to change the modes. I think. I don't know what it does. Hit tab for me. There you go. Now if you hit F, there you go. So those are the 3 modes. And if I hit tab, the tools will come back. And what we did is we changed the screen mode. We had standard, full screen mode with menu bar, full screen mode. So if you know the shortcuts, and you just want to have a black background with nothing but what you're working on, that's the way to do it. Now if I hit F, that's the standard. And then full screen mode with menu bar right there. And then full screen. Okay? And hit tab, and then everything is back again. Show layer edges. These are just options you can show. The ruler is right there. If we hit Control R, it'll turn on and off. So we'll hit Control R to keep it on. Snap to, guides, grids, layers. You can turn on this on and off. Lock guides, new guide. Okay. You can do it that way, or you can just do this. Drag it down. There's your guide. There. And bring it there. Okay. Then you have your guides right there. New guide layout. Okay, you can use that too. That's perfectly fine. Lock slice, clear slice. So slicing is more for web stuff. I don't even know where the tool is on here because it changes so much. I'm going to have to hunt for it to see what it is, or where it is. Basically what the slice tool does is it will crop a web design. There it is. So what you would do is you'd slice this, and then you would export it out, and it would, so if I did a slice like this, let's just say, I sliced this one right here, and then I did this one, and then I did this one, and I exported these three out as PNGs. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. So this will be PNG 1, PNG 2, PNG 3. And the idea behind it is when you're building a website, you want to render content, but you want to do it where the files are as small as possible. So what you can do, I'm going to hit Control Z to undo this. What you can do though is when you export it out as slices, this would be image 1, image 2, image 3, and they're all going to be smaller files because they're separated instead of together. That's the idea behind the slice. So that is the view menu. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And I still have my other file open here, so I'm going to close that out. Let's click on the window. And what I want to do is let's make a new project first. So I'm going to hit OK. And then we'll go to the window menu and let's look at the arrange option here. So you can do tile all vertically, tile all horizontally, 2 up. So let's look at this. Okay. Workspaces first. So you have Essential, which we have set up. You can do 3D, graphic and web, so it'll grab tools for that specific section. If you're going to do motion graphics, you can use that. Workspace, painting, and photography. You can also create your own workspace. So you can edit all this and customize this all the way you want. I recommend doing that once you're more comfortable with Photoshop because it's going to make your experience a lot more fun. Because you don't want to be, when you're creating stuff, you don't want to be fiddling with the menus and the toolbars and all that stuff. You want to know where everything is and do the work. And one other thing I want to mention is if you can get dual monitors, get dual monitors. Because what that does is that gives you the ability to move these tools to another monitor, and then you have more space to work. So I work with 2 monitors right now, and I absolutely love it. Normally I have 3, but right now I have 2. So we can find extensions on Exchange, and you can also grab extensions. So let's look at that real quick. Let this load. There you go. So they have find thousands of extensions, plugins, scripts, and more to enhance creativity and extend functionality of Creative Cloud applications. So they have extensions, so the Ultimate Retouch Panel, Advanced Local Contrast Enhancer, and a lot more here. I'm not going to go through all these, but you can specifically look for Photoshop extensions. I would just click here, and then that will direct you in the right direction. And there's 10 pages plus, I'm guessing, of Photoshop extensions. There are a lot. So there's free and paid as well. So it's a really cool thing. So 3D, that's just the 3D menu panel right here. Actions, this is what I was talking about earlier. You can create actions or scripts, and write everything out, and record yourself doing the action. So, like for example, if you wanted to create a new action, right? You could record, and then action 1 would be create a marquee tool, and then use the gradient tool. Okay, so that would be one action. Okay, and then you can play it back. So you could apply that to an item, and then it would run that action. So it would create the marquee tool and then apply that gradient if you want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to undo this, and then we'll continue on. So we have adjustments right here, brush settings, so you can set the brush settings there, different sizes and color dynamics, etc. They have brushes here, so you can look at general brushes. These are the different styles that they have. Wet media brushes, those are cool. You know, so it's not working because I don't, there we go. Really? What's going on? It would help if I had the brush tool. There we go. Okay, so I don't have that selected, but if I did this, then it works. Nice. Okay, there we go. I'm going to do Control Z to undo that and close that out. Next, you got channels. So you got red, green, and blue. Character, so this is just for text. Character styles. Clone source, so you can clone source. Let's see, color, so that's the color, and then you got swatches right here, which video, tool presets. So you can literally turn all these on. So if I had them all on, that's basically what you're doing. Your libraries right there, info. So there's a lot of stuff in the window menu, but these are all tools. So just think of these as all tools. And you can do tool presets, but that's why you want to work with the workspace and set up like the essential workspace. Figure out the way that you like it, and then utilize that, because that's really going to help your workflow and optimize your time that you're putting forth on the work that you're doing. So with that, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about the help menu. So let's go to Photoshop, which I have open here, and let's click on the help menu, click on home. And what that does is that takes you to the inside of Photoshop, like your project. Kind of cool. You can do Photoshop help, which will take you to a website. So you can look at this and get started, tutorials, user guide, get quick answers and step-by-step instructions. Tutorials for novice to expert help you expand your skills. That's really the Adobe Photoshop Learn and Support page. Photoshop tutorials, I highly recommend checking these out. Adobe is great about this. Firefox is fighting with me right now. But Adobe is great about this, about putting good tutorials up online. So they have, you can sort by beginner or experienced. So they'll give you more advanced projects, but I recommend looking at the beginner images. Look at the beginner tutorials to really expand your skills, because when I started using Photoshop, it was more for video. And as I've expanded my skill set throughout the years, I've done graphic design, print, web design, icon design, and mobile design. And so I've watched either tutorials here or on YouTube or somewhere else, free tutorials, learning different skills and stuff. So it's never a bad thing to keep learning, okay? So I highly recommend tutorials here or anywhere else you want to look. About plugins, so this is just a plugin that they have there. System info, this is just my system. Manage my account, it'll just take you to your account on adobe.com. Sign out, so you can sign out of your account. I recommend doing that. And then updates. So updates, you're going to find in the, let me go back here, in here. So if you just click on this little button here, actually click on that. Let me see if I can find where they have updates. Let me change everything on me again. Oh, right here, I'm blind. So if you go to the Creative Cloud desktop and go to updates, that's going to update everything. And they have an update all button. So when there's an update, it'll show you here, new updates are available. It'll show the Photoshop icon here, and then you just click update all. Or you can enable auto update, which would do it for you. It's up to you. I don't recommend doing that right away because sometimes there's bugs. So I'm going to close this out. Thank you for watching this. I'll see you in the next video. All right, welcome back to section 3 in Photoshop menu keyboard shortcuts. So in this lecture, we're going to talk about file menu keyboard shortcuts. So let's head over to Photoshop, which I've already opened. And what I want you to do is create a new document. So click on create new, and we're going to just create a default Photoshop size document. I'm going to hit OK. And now I'm going to talk about the keyboard shortcuts. So I'm not going to show you the menu. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the keyboard shortcuts. And I want you to watch down here. The keyboard shortcuts are going to pop up here. And then you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so the first keyboard shortcut I'm going to go over is new. So I'm going to hit Control N. And what that's going to do is it's going to prompt you to create a document. So you can do the same document as we did or a different one. In this case, we're just going to do the same one. So I'll hit OK. And now we have document 2. And here, let me save this file. Save as. And we're going to go to the desktop and hit save. And please do this with me. Now I'm going to hit Control. And now I can open up the untitled document. There you go. The next thing that you can do, and this only pertains to folks with Adobe Bridge, is if you hit Control-Alt-O, it's going to pop up Adobe Bridge. Now, if you don't have it installed, then this will not work. But I just wanted to show you that option because, again, I'm going through all the keyboard shortcuts in the file menu. So, I'm going to close out Untitled 2, okay? And the next keyboard shortcut we're going to do is Open As. So we're going to do Alt-Shift-Control-O. And I'm going to open up Untitled 2. It's basically the same function as open, okay? The next thing I want to do is I want to close this right here without touching this document here. I'm just going to close this one. So we're going to hit Control W, okay? Now what I want you to do is use one of the keyboard shortcuts that we've already used, Control O, open up Untitled 2. And now we're going to learn the next keyboard shortcut, which is close all. So we're going to do Alt Control W. Okay, and what that's going to do is it's going to close all your documents out. So document 1 or Untitled 1 we lost because we didn't save it. So I'm going to go File, Save As. We're going to save it on the desktop. Okay. The next keyboard shortcut that we're going to talk about is Close and Go to Bridge. Okay, so let's hit Shift Control W. Okay. So what that's going to do, it should close everything and then take you to Bridge. Now I didn't do that, which is okay. And we're going to try that again just to see if it was a constructor error or something else. So hit Shift Control W. Okay. So what the idea of this shortcut is, it will close the project that you're on and go to Bridge. Okay. So I'm going to close Untitled. Actually, we don't need to close this one. I'm going to hit Control N. We're going to make a new document. So I'm going to hit Control N. Try that again. There we go. And I'll name this Untitled 3. Okay. Now I'm going to hit Control S, which is our next keyboard shortcut, for save. And what that's going to do is it's going to save it. And if we want to save as, we're going to hit Shift Control S. Okay. And then we'll save it as Untitled 3. Because what it's going to do is when you create a new document, it's not going to allow you to save because you haven't saved as. You have to save as first, then you can save. Okay. Now, to revert, we're going to hit F12. Let's see if it lets me do it. Okay, so you can see here revert is not on. So essentially what revert does is if, let's say I make an error on here, and I go haywire and do this, and I go here, then I should be able to revert back. Okay. Let's see if it'll let me go undo revert. Okay. So to do a revert or to undo something, you hit F12. Okay. And that's going to revert back one spot. It won't let you revert again. It's only going to let you do it once. Okay, so the idea behind it is, if you have one mistake that you made that you want to correct, that's the keyboard shortcut to use as revert. Export as, so let's say that I want to use the brush tool again. Okay, web. Okay, I'm just going to write out web. And we're going to save this, we're going to export as. So I'm going to hit Alt, Shift, Control, W. Okay? Now what that's going to do is allow me to export as, and I can select the format. So I can do PNG for web, JPEG, GIF, SVG for web. Okay? I can pick the best format that I want or need for that project and then export all. And then what it's going to do is if you do Untitled 3, I'll hit Save. Okay, now, file info. If I want to check out the file info of this particular project, I hit Alt, Shift, Control. Oops. Alt, Shift, Control. Alt, Shift, Control, L. Okay. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do file info. So I'm going to click on it first just to make sure that I'm doing the right thing, which I believe I am. So what I'm going to do is I think it's Control, Alt, Shift, Alt, Shift, Control, I. There you go. So it's not L, it's actually I. Apologies for the confusion on that. But what that does is this will show you all the information, all the metadata on this document. Okay. And you can add metadata to it as well. So you can document title, author, description, rating, etc., keywords, all this jazz and stuff that's important. You can put it here. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is print. So if I hit Control P, then I can print, and you can see my printer here and the document here, and you can go through the rest of the prompts and all that stuff. To print one copy, we're going to hit Alt, Shift, Control, P. And I don't know if you can hear that, but it's going right to my printer. So it's not even going to prompt you and let you do any options. It's just going to go right to your printer if it's set up, and it'll start printing. Okay, so that's print one copy. Now the last shortcut that we're going to learn is exit. So first what I want you to do is I want you to close all with Alt, Control, W. Okay, now it's going to prompt you to save, so say yes, and then hit Control X or Control Q. There you go. So that is the file menu keyboard shortcuts. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next lecture. Hello everyone and welcome back. To this lecture we're going to talk about the edit menu shortcuts. So let's open up Photoshop if you haven't already. And the first thing I want you to do is create a new document. So we're going to use the keyboard shortcut that we learned in the previous lecture, Control N, to create a new document. Okay, so if I click inside of Photoshop and I hit Control N, we're going to give it a name of Untitled 4. I'm going to hit OK. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control-Shift-S to save, and we're going to save this on the desktop. And now what I need to do is I need to create some content so we can learn about the edit menu shortcuts, because the ones we're going to be focusing on here is undo, redo, toggle last state, fade, cut, copy, copy merge, paste, and paste special. Those are the first couple that we're going to talk about. So what I want to do is I'm going to create a couple layers here. So go right down here and click on create a new layer. And I'm going to grab the paintbrush, and we're going to kind of go like this. And then I'm going to grab another layer. I'm going to change the color to black, and I'm going to do that. And then I'll do one more, and let's just pick red. That's fine. And we'll do the same thing, okay? Now, so we've created 3 layers. So to undo something, we're going to hit Control-Z, okay? So that's the first thing. So you can see undo new layer. Now, if we wanted to redo that, we're going to hit Shift-Control-Z. And that will redo what we just undid, okay? To toggle the last state, we're going to hit Alt-Control-Z. So that's going to undo it again. And then to redo it, we're just going to do Control-Shift-Z, okay? So basically what this does is it redoes and undoes what we did. And this is important because when you're working with multiple layers and you're editing, let's say you're editing a picture and you're touching something up and you do 50 touch-ups, sometimes you're going to have to undo what you're doing, okay? Once you get very good at it, you're going to do less, but you're still going to need that tool. It's a very important tool in Photoshop, okay? So, to do fade, we're going to hit Shift-Control-F, okay? And what that's going to do is it's going to pop up here, and you can select the mode, and we can edit the fade, okay? So what it's doing is we have this one layer selected, layer 3, and we're adding a fade to it. So we can fade it. We can change the mode, so we can do difference, we can do color burn, you know, you can do all sorts of fun stuff with that. Now, to undo that, what are we going to do? We're going to hit Control-Z, and that's going to undo that effect, okay? Now, to cut this layer, we're going to hit Control-X, okay? In fact, you're going to hit Control-A to select all, and then Control-X, okay? Now, if you wanted to paste this on a new layer, let's say you want to paste it on layer 4, then what we're going to do is we're going to hit Control-V, okay? And if I wanted to paste it in place, we're going to hit Shift-Control-V, okay? If I want to paste into, and I'm going to hide these 2 layers so we can see what we're doing. Alt-Shift-Control-V to paste into, okay? If we want to search, we're going to hit Control-F, okay? So we can search inside of Photoshop for different things, okay? So if I hit that again, it'll disappear. Content-aware scale, if you hit Alt-Shift-Control-C, okay, now we know what the content-aware scale is, basically, where you can see the border of the layer, okay? The other way to do that is Control-T, which is the transform tool, okay? But that's actually what I'm going to be talking right now, next, is the free transform tool is Control-T, and what that's going to do is let you move it around, resize it, etc. So we can change it and move it over here in the corner, okay? If I hit again, so Shift-Control-T, I can shrink it down multiple times. So if I hit Control-Z and bring it back up, and then I want to bring it down one, I hit Control-Shift. Well, actually Shift-Control-T. Either way works, Control-Shift-T or Shift-Control-T. And what it's going to do is it's going to proportionally drop the size down. Okay, so if I do undo, actually let's redo it. So if I do Control-Shift-Z again, there we go, and then do Control-Shift-T, bring that down, then I can go to this layer, the black brush here, and do the same thing. Okay, and bring that down to size, and then Control-T to transform it or move it, and then there you go. So that is that. Now the color settings, we can do Shift-Control-K, and then you can edit the color settings. Okay. Now you're wondering why is the sequence this way? Well, the reason why it's that way is all the keyboard shortcuts are right here, okay, that we're going over. And now we're going to talk about keyboard shortcuts. So in order to get there, we're going to do Alt-Shift-Control-K. Okay, that's going to take you to the keyboard shortcuts and menus. And what you can do in here, we're on the tools right now, but if I go to application menus, we're in the edit menu right now. You can see all the keyboard shortcuts right here, okay? And you can add to that. You can click on one, add a keyboard shortcut. I'm not going to do that at this point, but that is a possibility of, you know, changing up the keyboard shortcuts. I want to keep it as default right now so you can learn the ones that they have, and as you're comfortable, then you can move on to that if you see fit. Okay, so I'm going to go to menus. And so like I said, you can go to any menu here and you can edit the Photoshop default keyboard shortcuts to whatever you want. So if you wanted to change something, you could. Okay, so that's the keyboard shortcuts and the menus. So let me rewind for a second. If I hit Alt-Shift-Control K, that takes me to keyboard shortcuts. Okay, if I hit Alt-Shift-Control M, that takes me to the menu section of that. And if I hit Control K, that takes me to preferences. So that will take me right to preferences, and then I can go in and I can work on whatever I need to in preferences. Okay, so that's the edit menu keyboard shortcuts. All right, so thanks for watching this lecture. I'll see you in the next lecture. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture we're going to talk about the image menu keyboard shortcuts. So let's head over to Photoshop if you're not already there. I actually still have Untitled 4 up on the screen here, so I'm going to hit Control S to save because I see this little star here, which means I need to save. So I'm going to hit OK. And we're going to talk about this menu right here. So they have quite a few shortcuts here. There's some in there, so in adjustments. So we're going to be doing a couple of adjustments first. Then we're going to do auto tone and image size and canvas size. Okay, so that's pretty much going to be this lecture. So the first thing I want to do is I want to give this kind of a wild background. So I'm going to unlock this layer. I'm going to give it a red background with yellow. Okay, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the adjustments. Okay, and so we're going to adjust the levels. So I'm going to hit Control L, and we're going to put this on preview. And what you can do is when we start moving stuff around here, you can see what's going on over here. Okay, that's why I picked a darker color, because it's easier to see what we're doing. So if I go like this and move this way, then you can see, okay, that's what it's doing. All right, so if I hit OK and save that, that's the levels. Okay, now I'm going to hit Control M to go to the curves. Okay, and same thing, we're going to leave the preview on, and then we're just going to move stuff around, and you're going to see it's going to change the color. Okay, so we can move it a little bit up or down. We can also move it this way as well. Okay, so that's the curves. The next thing we're going to talk about is Control U, which is the hue and saturation. So you can really change this up a lot just with the hue and saturation. So we can make it darker, and we can go this way, you know. Okay, and hit OK. Then we can do color balance. So if I hit Control B, now we can do color balance. So I can move the colors this way, that way. So I go lighter. There you go. Okay, I'll hit OK. We can also do black and white. So if I do Alt-Shift-Control and B, then what it's going to do is make the background black or a darker color, and then you can edit I mean, you can still edit it more, but it essentially is making it that color, black and white, or darkening it, I should say. To invert, we're going to hit Control I. Okay, so invert is going to do the opposite of what we have there, so I'm going to hit Control Z to undo that. To desaturate, we're going to hit Shift Control U. Supposedly that worked. Let me see something. Yep, that worked. Okay, I want to make sure. To do auto tone, we're going to do Shift Control L. Okay, now this is not really a good image for that, so what I want to do is hit Control N. We're going to do Untitled 5, and I'm going to give this kind of a. Let's make a new layer here. I'm going to grab the brush. I'm going to do this and that. And then let's do the background. I'm going to unlock that. We're going to go to gradient and just kind of do that. And then we'll change this. I'm going to delete this one. Yes. And then I'm going to make a new layer and give it a white brush and then do that. Okay, now we're going to do auto tone. So if we do Shift Control L, it's going to auto tone this. Now, this is really better for an image. So here's what I want you to do. We're going to go to your favorite web browser, that is Google Chrome, Firefox. We're going to go to Google, and I'm going to type in landscape. Okay, and we're going to go to images, and just grab this image here. Okay, I'm going to save as right to the desktop. Close out the browser, and then hit Control O, and bring the photo in. There you go, beautiful. Now, if I do the same shortcut of Shift Control L, it's going to auto tone, so you can see what it did here. I'm going to hit Control Z to undo. Okay, so it set the auto tone, so I'm going to redo that. Okay, We can also do auto contrast. So we can do Alt-Shift-Control-L, okay, and then Shift-Control-B for auto color. So you can see it changed again. And if you didn't see it, I'll undo it, and then we'll redo what we just did, so you can see it. Okay. So that is the keyboard shortcuts for adjustments and also for auto tone, auto contrast, and auto color. And it's really better for images that you've taken of an environment somewhere. This is not really a good use for those tools because there's nothing to auto tone. It's already got everything it needs. So I'm going to save this with Control S and then close this one out with Control W. And then this image, what I want to do is I want to look at the image size. So we're going to hit Alt Control L. Nope, that's the wrong one. Alt Control I. There we go. And you're going to see the image size here. So we have the original size and it's in inches right now. So if we want to change that to pixels, it's 1000 pixels by 667 pixels, and it's 72 dpi, or the resolution is 72 dots per inch. So it's a lower res image. So I'm going to hit OK. Now if we wanted to see the canvas size, we're going to hit Alt Control C, and now we can see what the size is, the canvas, so the background of this. So there's a differentiation between the canvas size and the image size. The canvas size, if I change this to 1200, okay, we're going to have space on the right and the left. And then if I hit Alt Control again and see, if I hit the right keys, there we go. And I did 1200 here. Okay, we're going to have space, the top and the bottom, everywhere, because the image itself, this image, if we look at it again, Alt Control I and not L, I keep hitting L, my apologies. The width and the height of this is only 1200. Okay, now it's gone up, but when we looked at it before, it was not 1200 by 1200. So we can actually shrink this down. We can do 600 by 600, okay? And we keep the canvas the way it is, okay? So that's the difference between image size and camera size. But again, I want to focus on the keyboard shortcuts, and that's why it's important to understand these, because if you're working with a lot of images, you want to use a lot of these keyboard shortcuts. You're going to use levels, curves, hue and saturation, color balance, black and white, invert, desaturate, auto tone, auto contrast, auto color are commonly used tools that quickly get your images where they need to be right away. And then if you have to adjust the image size or the canvas size, then you can do that. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next lecture. All right, welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to talk about the layer menu shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts. So the first thing I want to do is we're going to close out this image that we worked with in the previous video. So I'm going to save it. And Untitled 4, we'll just hit Control S and then Control W to close that out. Now, what I want to do is hit Control N, and we're going to do Untitled 6. Okay, I'm going to hit Control Shift S, and we're going to save that to the desktop. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to learn about the layers. Okay, so we're going to talk specifically about the layer menu, and a lot of the shortcuts here are going to be ones that you can see right in front of you here. Right there, and then right here. Okay, so I just want to give you kind of a visual aid on that. So if I hit, so I want you to watch from down here, wherever your layers panel is. If we hit Shift Control N, what that's going to do is it's going to prompt up a new layer. Okay, so we can name it whatever we want. We can also give it a color, and we can put it in a mode. So if you want to give it a different mode, then you can. I'm going to leave it as normal. I'm going to hit OK. And now you can see layer 1 is red, and it's selected, right? So if I do another one, let's do Shift Control N, and let's give this one orange. Okay, we'll just keep it layer 2. And then let's make another one. And we're going to give it yellow. Okay, and then we'll make another one. And we're going to give it the color green. And we'll do 3 more. So we're going to do blue, violet, and then gray. Okay, so we should have a total of 7 new layers that we've created with this keyboard shortcut. And the reason why that's important, okay, the reason why creating a new layer is important is because I use this tool all the time. Whenever I need a new layer, Shift Control N. This is one of the main keyboard shortcuts I use. Okay, I could spend an entire course just talking about layers. So the point is that new layer is a great keyboard shortcut. Okay, and it's going to make your life so much easier. So the next thing we're going to talk about is layer via copy. So if I hit Control J, it's going to copy layer 7, which I got to be honest, I didn't even know that you could do that. That's awesome. That's something that I learned when I was researching for this course. Okay. Now, if we want to cut that layer, we can hit Shift Control J, and what that's going to do Control J. It's going to cut the layer, and then we're going to hit, let's see, how do I paste this then? Okay, well, that's still duplicated. The cut, I guess, I'll just delete it. The layer via cut. I don't even know why that's a keyboard shortcut, honestly. If we wanted to export a layer as a JPEG, you hit Shift Control exclamation point or apostrophe. Okay, and it's empty, right? So let's do this. Let's grab a brush, and I'm going to do that, and then we'll try it again. And now you can see I can export it right from the layer. That's awesome. So that's a quick export as PNG, is what that is. So if I say this is layer 7, how cool is that to be able to go from the layer and just quick export it out as a quick export as PNG? That's awesome. Now, if you want to export as, we're going to hit Alt, Shift, Control, apostrophe, right? And what that's going to do is it's going to take us to the prompt menu where we can select the format and select a lot more options here. So I can export all, and we're going to call this layer 78 instead of 7, so I can save it. And then when I go, okay, so I'm going to save this with Control S. Now, the next thing we can do is create a clip-in mask. So if I hit Alt, Control G, okay, what that's going to do is it's going to mask what I have. So layer masks are really cool. Basically, the idea behind it is you put an object here, and then you can mask over it with something. Or you can hide part of it and then show other parts of it. That's another entire course I can go over. So I'm not going to cover it in depth. I'm just going to give you a broad stroke, and that's really the broad stroke at this point. Now, the next shortcut is group layers. So if we hit Control G, this is a crazy cool keyboard shortcut because I just did that 6 times, right? So if I hit Control Z, okay, and go back, you see that I don't have to even use my mouse really when I'm doing this. You still need a mouse for this, but that's all you should be using the mouse for, is for that. Like, I shouldn't have to use it for tools. I should know what the shortcuts are so that I can, you see what I'm doing here? I'm going haywire right now. But the point is that if you know the keyboard shortcuts, you don't need to use this or this at all, really. And then you can focus on getting work done. So anyway, Control G is an awesome keyboard shortcut because you can create groups with this. So I can grab these layers, throw them up here, grab these layers, throw them in group 2, okay? And if you highlight it and then hit Control G, they go inside, right? So if I created, so let's go outside of the box here and hit, we're gonna do Shift Control N. So we'll do a couple layers here. Just make 4 layers. Highlight them, then hit Control G, and now you have group 4. That's how easy it is. And that makes it really easy to group layers. Now, if I don't want to ungroup, you hit Shift Control G, okay, and then it'll ungroup it. If you want to hide the layers, hit Control and comma, that will hide the layers. If you want to unhide the layers, do the same thing. If you want to lock the layers, Control \, and that will lock the layers. Now, these are 2 keyboard shortcuts, again, that I did not know before I researched this. What I've been doing is the old school way, which you highlight it and then you click on this. So I've actually learned a few things here, and I'm quite proud of saying that I'm always willing to learn something. So I'm never the smartest person in the room. I'm kind of in the middle, okay? So let me undo that. Now you can merge down. So if I hit Control E, what this is going to do is it's going to merge all those layers together, okay? And then merge visible, we're going to hit Shift Control E. And that will do all of them. So all the layers were grouped together. So you can merge down, which means any layers that are highlighted, they're going to merge together. And then merge visible means all your layers are going to be flattened into one. So if you want to export this out as an image, it will do that if you save it as an image. But this is another way you can do that, where if you want to, merge them together, that's the way to do it. All right, so I'm going to save this file. I'm going to undo that and undo that as well. And thanks for watching this lecture. I'll see you in the next lecture. All right, welcome back. So in this lecture, we're going to talk about the select menu keyboard shortcuts. So let's go to the select menu just real quick so I can show you what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about select all, deselect, reselect, inverse, all layers, find layers, select and mask, and that's really it. All right, so let's do it. So I left this Untitled 6 open because we already have layers here. So I'm going to hit Control A to select layer 8 only, Control D to deselect. So this is a tool, Control A and Control D, I use all the time. I absolutely love this tool because what it does, if I go to layer 7, right, and I Control A, Control C, Control X, and then do Control Shift N, and make layer 12 and Control V, I can paste it in here. And then if I do this, I can move it around with Control T, Control A, allows me to move it as well because it's a selection tool. So that's another way you can do it, and then Control D to deselect. Okay, now to reselect, we're going to do Shift Control D, okay, and then Control D to deselect. Inverse is going to be Shift Control I, actually L, okay, Control Z to undo that. So Shift Control L to inverse, Control Z to uninverse. To select all layers, we're going to hit Alt Control A, okay, so that'll select all the layers that are not locked, okay, Alt Shift Control, that's a funky one, Alt Shift Control F, to find layers, you can search right there. So if you have a whole panel, let's say you have 100 layers, right, so let's do that for a second. Oops, I don't want to do it. Okay, I'm not going to do 100 layers, I'll do 20 layers. So use the keyboard shortcut Control Shift and make 7 more layers or however many you need to get to 20. And then what you can do is you can use Alt Shift Control F to find a layer. So we'll do layer 1. Okay, there's layer 1. It'll pop up. Okay, so it's just a quicker way to even get to this. I mean, you can click there and do it, but if you're over here and then you want to do it, it's all about speed. So you do whatever you need to do. So now what we can do is we can select all the layers with Alt Control A. Okay, it lets me. It wasn't working. What's it doing? Here we go. Alt Control A. All right, I'm gonna do it old school. I'm gonna hold Shift and select all. There we go. We're gonna select and mask. So I'm gonna do Alt Control R. Okay. Let's go to layer 12 and try that again. So we're gonna do Alt Control R. Okay. So now. Okay, and there you go. So now we've masked that layer. Okay, so that is the select menu keyboard shortcuts. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next lecture. All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about the filter menu keyboard shortcuts. So let's head over to Photoshop. If you're not already there, open up Untitled 6 for me. So I'm going to hit Control S to save this because I've been using this for a couple videos now. And we're going to learn about filter. Okay, so if you ran a filter, so like Liquify, I just clicked on this and there's not really anything we can do with this per se. So let's hit Control O. We really need an image. And grab our image. And what I'm going to do is now I can give it kind of a filter gallery. Or click on the filter gallery and just give it an effect. Okay. Now what you can do is if you hit Alt Control F, it's going to do the last filter. Okay. We can also do different filters. So if I do Alt Shift Control A, it's supposed to do an adaptive wide angle. Okay. There we go. Does it work? Sort of. Okay. So hit OK. Then we can do camera raw filter. So if I do Shift Control A, okay, click get started. Then I can, mess around with this and just kind of play with the levers here. Okay. All right. Then I can do lens correction. So if I do Shift Control R, we can do lens correction. So I hit OK. We can liquify. So Shift Control X. To liquify, so if I just do this, I'm gonna go wild, and then vanishing point. So if I do Alt Control V, okay, are you sure you want to convert colors? Yes. Okay. There you go. Okay. Okay. Now that's how you use the keyboard shortcuts for filter. So that's just these right here. All right. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next lecture. All right. Welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk briefly about the View menu keyboard shortcuts. So you can see here, if I go to View, we can look at proof colors, gamut warning, so Control Y, Shift Control Y for gamut warning, zoom in, I'll show you that one, zoom out, fit on screen, 100%, extras, snap, so this one's already on, so if you hit Shift Control, and then this little thing right next to the Enter key, and etc. Ruler, just Control R. So the ones we're going to focus on are these 4 right here. So we're going to talk about zoom in, so Control plus, zoom out, Control minus, fit on screen, Control 0, and then 100% is Control and 1. Okay, so that is in a nutshell the View menu keyboard shortcuts. There's not a lot in this menu, which is okay. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next lecture. All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about the View menu. So let's head over to Photoshop. I'm already in here. I'm going to create new, and let's do Photoshop default size. Hit OK, and let's click on View and look at the menu and what they have. So proof. Setup, you can do working CMYK. This is for setting up print stuff, proof colors, gamut warning, pixel aspect ratio. So square, you can do a different aspect ratio, and pixel aspect ratio. The square is good. Pixel ratio correction, 32-bit preview options. Those are deactivated right now. But we can zoom in, zoom out, fit on screen, fit artboard on screen. We don't have one, so that's no good. We can do 100%, 200%, or you can do this, which I prefer. Hit the letter Z, hold Alt, zoom out, let go, zoom in. And then use spacebar, hold the spacebar, and you can grab the hand tool and move around. So you can zoom out, and then use the hand tool to move it around. Does the same exact thing. Print size. Okay. That I don't know the shortcut for, so use that. There's no shortcut. Flip horizontal. I'm gonna undo that. They have screen mode. Okay, let's see what that is. Oh, full screen mode with menu bar, full screen mode. So with this, if you just hit the letter F, that's going to change the modes. I think. Normally it does. Hit tab for me. There you go. Now if you hit F, there you go. So those are the 3 modes. And if I hit tab, the tools will come back. And what we did is we changed the screen mode. We had standard, full screen mode with menu bar, full screen mode. So if you know the shortcuts, and you just want to have a black background with nothing but what you're working on, that's the way to do it. Now if I hit F, that's the standard. And then full screen mode with menu bar right there. And then full screen. Okay? And hit tab and then everything is back again. Show layer edges. These are just options you can show. The ruler is right there. If we hit Control R, it'll turn on and off. So we'll hit Control R to keep it on. Snap to, guides, grids, layers. You can turn on and off. Lock guides, new guide. Okay? You can do it that way, or you can just do this. Bring it down. There's your guide. There. And bring it there. Okay? And you have your guide right there. New guide layout. Okay, you can use that too. That's perfectly fine. Lock slice, clear slice. So slicing is more for web stuff. I don't even know where the tool is on here because it changes so much. I'm going to have to hunt for it to see what it is, or where it is. Basically what the slice tool does is it will crop a web design. There it is. So what you would do is you'd slice this, and then you would export it out, and it would... So if I did a slice like this, let's just say, I sliced this one right here, and then I did this one, and then I did this one, and I exported these 3 out as PNGs. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. So this will be PNG 1, PNG 2, PNG 3. And the idea behind it is when you're building a website, you want to render content, but you want to do it where the files are as small as possible. So what you can do, I'm going to hit Control Z to do this. What you can do though is when you export it out as slices, this would be image 1, image 2, image 3, and they're all going to be smaller files because they're separated instead of together. That's the idea behind the slice. So that is the view menu. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about the help menu keyboard shortcuts. So let me go to the help menu real quick, just so you can see. And we're only going to talk about one keyboard shortcut, which is awesome. So if I hit F1, supposedly if I hit F1, well, it does not want to work for me. That's awesome. So I'm just going to go click on the help menu and hit Photoshop help. What it's supposed to do, see, it did work. It just didn't pop up. See, I opened up 2 tabs here along with this one, so it did work. When you hit F1, what it's going to do is take you to your default web browser and take you to helpx.adobe.com so you can get more help on Photoshop. All right, so thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.